Chosen one, God said it's over. You're now richer than ever before. This is not a prediction. This is not a possibility. This is a declaration from the divine realm. The war you endured in silence, the drought you survived with faith, the pressure you carried with courage. It has all led to this moment. God has spoken. The season of scarcity is over. The tide has turned. The page has turned. And now, you are richer, not just in wealth, but in wisdom, in spirit, in divine inheritance. What was denied before is being delivered now. What was delayed is being expedited. You are not walking into richness. You are already in it. Chosen one, watch this video until the end. There is an energy that moves when the word is received in full. And write your warmest wishes in the comments. Then write the number 777 to signal your alignment with this divine moment. This is not just for manifestation. It's an energetic activation. What you send out now returns multiplied. Wishes become magnetic, and heaven takes notice. Now, chosen one, like this video, subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel, and let's begin. You have been walking through a battlefield disguised as ordinary days, the tears you hid in plain sight, the "I'm fine" answers you gave when your soul was pleading for clarity. You wore strength like armor, not because you had no fear, but because you had no other option. And through all of it, God was watching, not from a distance, from within, from beside you, from underneath the weight you carried. He knew what you were enduring. He knew what others couldn't see. And now, God has said, it's over. The test has concluded. The delay has served its purpose. The waiting is now turning into welcoming. Heaven has recorded your endurance. And because you stayed loyal when you didn't understand, because you held on when letting go felt easier, God has released the verdict. You are no longer trying to become rich in life. You already are. It has been sealed. Not just financial wealth, although that is coming, but a richness of reality. A life where your needs no longer command your prayers, because provision walks ahead of you. Where opportunities seek you out instead of you chasing after them. Where your yes is met with divine yeses all around you. You didn't just survive the drought. You turned it into a platform for promise. This is not the kind of richness that can be calculated in numbers. It is layered in meaning. It is deep in spirit. God has declared you richer than ever before because you have passed every invisible test. You grew where nothing was planted. You spoke life where silence tried to suffocate. You believed when it made no logical sense to do so. And now this is what heaven does. It restores you louder than the silence that tried to consume you. Your table is being set in front of every season that tried to convince you to quit. Every moment that tried to whisper that you were forgotten, God has turned into an announcement. And this announcement echoes through dimensions. It's over. Lack is over. Long nights of asking when, God, are over. Replaying mistakes in your mind is over. Being overlooked while others were rewarded is over. Waiting for a sign is over. God is not just giving you signs now. He is giving you substance, proof, tangibility, overflow. You didn't imagine this. You didn't manifest this out of thin air. This was a promise that had your name on it long before you knew what a promise even was. The only reason it took this long was because the blessing had to match your capacity to hold it. You had to be forged by fire so you wouldn't fumble what's being handed to you now. You had to be stretched so your container could handle this level of grace. And now, chosen one, your container is ready. Heaven is pouring, and the floodgates are not just opening, they've already burst. Look around you. The atmosphere is shifting, not just around you, but through you. You're not trying to break through anymore. You are the breakthrough. What you carry is too undeniable now. The richness within you is attracting everything God said would come. The decisions you make from this moment will not be from a place of scarcity. They will be made from divine surplus. You've entered a season where miracles are not something you hope for. They are something you walk in. There were days you questioned whether this would ever come, and now you realize it was already coming toward you, even while you were doubting, even while you were at your lowest, even while you questioned if you were even worthy of what you prayed for. God wasn't counting your doubts against you. He was counting your steps toward endurance. And every single step has led to this statement. God said it's over. And you are now richer than ever before. Your story will confuse people. It won't make sense how fast things begin to align. But you'll know. This wasn't random. This was the moment God whispered to your soul even before you knew what He meant. He said, "Hold on." He said, "Just a little longer." And now He says, "Receive. No more proving, no more pleading. This is your inheritance arriving. You're not getting rich. You are rich, spiritually wealthy, mentally clear, emotionally healed, financially backed, cosmically aligned, heaven ordained, earth acknowledged, and nothing can take that away from you. The moment you surrendered, God started working. The moment you kept quiet when you could have defended yourself, heaven wrote your name in victory. You didn't need to make noise, because now your abundance will speak louder than anything your past tried to shout at you. Every seed you planted in faith, it's grown now. It's breaking through the soil. You're about to witness harvests you forgot you even prayed for. The drought did not dry you out. It defined you. And now, God is filling you back up, not to the brim, but past it, with more than you imagined, in ways you didn't predict, from sources you didn't expect. Because God doesn't just restore, He overwhelms, and that's what's happening right now. There is divine proof in your path. And even if you don't see the full picture yet, you feel the difference. That's not imagination. That's not hope playing tricks. That's confirmation. That's the ripple effect of a realm shifting. And you're the center of it. Not because you asked to be, but because you were chosen to be. God said it's over. And now you are entering the rest of your story. The part where breakthrough is daily. The part where favor follows you without you forcing it. The part where your name is mentioned in rooms you haven't stepped into yet. You are the walking prophecy. And nothing can delay what has already been released. You didn't need a sign in the sky, because your whole life became the message. The message of endurance, the message of strength woven through weakness, the message of light finding its way through layers of uncertainty. You became the message. And now, the message has reached its final punctuation. God has placed a divine period at the end of what tried to run on too long. No more cycles. No more repeat patterns. No more disguised delays masquerading as preparation. That season has come to its conclusion, because the richness that now surrounds you must exist in a new atmosphere. You are not called to remain where struggle once grew roots. You have outgrown those grounds, and God, in His perfect timing, has declared that what was once buried will now rise. It was never the end when you were down. It was never failure when the door closed. It was a divine recalibration, a holy redirection. And now, the path has cleared. The confirmation has been delivered. The weight you once cursed has transformed into the very structure that now sustains your wealth. What does it mean to be richer than ever before? It means you now see through the illusions. You are no longer blinded by false promises or counterfeit opportunities. You recognize what's from God and what's simply loud. You've tuned your discernment, and because of that, you will never again be swayed by urgency, by pressure, or by distractions pretending to be destiny. That's a wealth very few possess, but you do, because you've earned it in silence, through pain, through perseverance. Your spiritual account is full, brimming, overflowing, not because you didn't experience lack, but because you didn't let it define your worth. You walked into rooms where you had less than others, but carried more within. You spoke with dignity when your circumstances whispered despair. You kept showing up, kept praying, kept walking, kept choosing light, and heaven recorded all of it. Every silent yes you gave, every decision to rise instead of collapse, every moment you trusted what couldn't be seen. And now, God has opened the vault. But it's not just money. It's not just a home, or a new path, or a financial release. It's also the richness of peace, the wealth of wisdom, the abundance of favor. You are richer because you carry what cannot be stolen. Internal alignment. Your value is not being calculated by the zeros in your account. It's being counted in the echoes of your obedience. The way you stood firm. The way you loved anyway. The way you hoped anyway. You see, richness in the kingdom is multidimensional, and God is pouring all of it on you now. At once, suddenly, powerfully, from every direction. Your name has been spoken by angels. Your location has been highlighted in the Spirit. And while others were climbing their ladders, you were being lifted by invisible hands. And those hands, they were God's. Your elevation wasn't announced to the world, but it was finalized in heaven. And now it is appearing, publicly, clearly, undeniably. The shift is no longer internal. It's visible. And people will wonder how it happened. They will question how you came from where you were to where you now stand. But what they will never understand is the cost. The wilderness. The nights you screamed into pillows. The times you questioned if your prayers were heard. The times you were tempted to walk away from it all. Yet, here you are. Not by chance. By divine command. Chosen one, the label richer is not ornamental. It's prophetic. It's strategic. You are being enriched in every sense of the word. Relationships that were draining you are being replaced by those that pour into you. Paths that once led to confusion are now illuminated by clarity. Doors that were slammed shut in your face will now open on their own. You don't need to push. You don't need to explain. You don't need to justify. Because what is yours recognizes you now, and what recognizes you can no longer avoid you. God saw how long you waited without bitterness, how long you stayed quiet while others received what you prayed for. And instead of growing resentful, you grew deeper, wiser, stronger. That's why this version of you is ready. That's why this wealth has found you now. Because you're not the same person who first asked for it. You've been transformed by time, pressure, and purpose. And now, the transformed you is ready for the transformed life. Don't be surprised when the favor shows up fast. Don't hesitate when the offers arrive. Don't question it when your name is selected. This isn't coincidence. This is completion. This is the result of holy timing. You're stepping into it now, not crawling, not hoping, but knowing. That's the richness of faith. Knowing without having to prove. Receiving without having to perform. Being without having to beg. Every rejection was a reroute. Every delay was a disguised delivery. Every pause was a prophecy being prepared behind the veil. And now, the veil has been lifted. You can see what was always meant for you. You can feel the atmosphere obeying what God said about you. You can hear the silence break as opportunities begin to speak your name. And the beauty of it all is this: you don't owe anyone an explanation. Your life will be the answer. Your glow will be the explanation. Your wealth, spiritual and material, will reveal everything they didn't see coming. This isn't arrogance. This is alignment. This is what happens when God says, "It's over." When He closes a chapter that needed to end. When He shuts down every scheme that tried to sabotage you. When He decides it's time to show the world who He was building in the shadows. Let this sink in. You are not in a season of maybe. You are in a moment of manifest. And it's happening because God is delivering what He stored for you. You've been trusted. And now, you're being honored. Quietly first, then loudly. Gradually first, then suddenly. The momentum has already started. The announcements have already been released in the Spirit. Now comes the unfolding. Now comes the unveiling. Now comes the rain after the drought. You didn't miss your moment. You are the moment. And now, the world is adjusting to your frequency. You're no longer trying to make space. Space is being made for you. The rooms you were once excluded from will now extend invitations. The people who overlooked you will now look up to you, not because you need it, but because God planned it. You are richer because you understand your value isn't attached to visibility. You're richer because you understand that being hidden was never a punishment, it was protection. You're richer because you no longer need to chase what is divinely assigned. It is chasing you now, and as it reaches you, you'll know it was all worth it. The silence, the wait, the pain, the prayers, the faith, the fire. Every part of it contributed to this divine declaration. God said it's over. And the minute He said that, everything that was working against you lost its grip. Every spiritual battle that tried to block your future was overruled. Every delay that tried to define you was erased. And every lack that once surrounded you was replaced by legacy. Because you are now richer than ever before, and it's only the beginning. There is something sacred about the turning point no one else sees coming. And chosen one, you are living in that unseen turn right now. The pivot is happening under the surface, but it will erupt into visibility so soon that even you will feel stunned by how swiftly God works when the moment is right. He was never late. He was building. He was weaving together timelines and aligning doors and stirring hearts and softening paths, all for this exact time. You are not rich because you stumbled into fortune. You are rich because you endured what would have crushed most. You made it out of storms that were designed to wipe out your hope. You survived seasons where God was silent, but your soul still whispered, "I believe." And now everything is responding to the frequency of your faith. What once ignored you is now pulled to you. What once resisted is now surrendering. Not because you changed your pursuit, but because heaven announced your arrival. God has not just made you richer. He's made you stronger. And not the kind of strength that has to shout to be heard. The kind that settles into a room and shifts its atmosphere. You carry peace now. And peace is a currency that opens doors money cannot. You carry presence now. And presence is a signature of divine favor. You walk into spaces now with the weight of everything you've endured, not dragging it, but wearing it as proof of survival. This wealth you've received, it's layered, it's divine, and it's protected. No one can take what God has assigned. No force can block what God has already released. Even if there are whispers trying to speak against you, they have no access anymore. You've been elevated into a realm where noise cannot reach you. The only sound that matters now is the sound of God saying, "You're ready." And when He says you're ready, life must adjust to accommodate the new you. There is a hidden beauty in the wealth of alignment. In knowing you're not just receiving abundance, you're walking in purpose. And this is what God meant when He said, "It's over." It's not just the struggle that's over, it's the wandering, the confusion, the cycles. You have entered a moment where things will not repeat. They will evolve. And the evolution has already started. You are in divine motion now. The kind of motion that cannot be reversed. You can feel it in the clarity of your thoughts. You can sense it in the quiet confidence growing within. You can witness it in the way things are suddenly flowing, aligning, arriving, as if they were just waiting for you to reach this frequency. This is the reward for not giving up. For holding on when letting go would have been easier.